favorite when we get to start lying down. So just start to bring your attention and your focus to your breath. You can either be lying all the way down in Shavasana, or you can bring your feet into wide on your mat and let your knees come in together. Whatever is more comfortable for you right now. Bring your hands to your belly, send your breath all the way down. And then we'll start to bring our feet closer into center and closer to our bums as if we were coming up into a bridge. And from here, just start to press your sacrum or your lower back down into the mat. So you'll be doing kind of like a bit of a pelvic tilt. And then focus on your ribs coming down as well. So your ribs and your pelvis are coming closer together. It's going to be a little bit of engagement for the core. And just notice how your breath changes, how it doesn't want to go as deep. Just some gentle activation. You want to focus on the ribs coming down too, so you're not flaring with the upper back when your pelvis and your lower back presses into the mat. And refocus, recenter back on your breath. Now let's just start to rock the pelvis back and forth a few times. And the next time the lower back presses down into your mat, just start to pick up your feet. You can bring your arms up overhead as well. The start of a dead bug. And just hold here, focus on your ribs coming down again. So this is already some core activation with your legs and your arms in the air. And then flex your feet, just start to bring the right heel down, tap it on the mat, bring it back up, nice and slow. Alternate with the feet. Feel your core working. If you want to add in the arms, that makes it a little bit harder. So when your right heel goes down, your left arm goes up overhead. And then back into center and just alternate opposite hand and foot moving at the same time. My core is really working. Let's just do one more each side. A little bit slower than you want to go. And then release, hug the knees into your chest. Take a nice big deep breath. Bring your feet back onto your mat. Grab onto opposite elbows and start to tip the knees over to the right and bring your elbows all the way over to the left. Super big spinal twist. If it feels like too much, you can leave your arms in cactus or in a T shape and just go back and forth really gently with the knees at first. Or you can bring your feet wider apart, which will take a little bit pressure off the low back. If you are looking for a really big twist, the knees come to the right, elbows to the left. And then use your core, lift up through center, take everything in the opposite direction. So the knees come over to the left, elbows go over to the right. Back through center. Let's go one more time each side. Really wringing out the spine. Through center, last one. Back into center. Bring the knees back into your chest. Just rock a little bit from side to side here. And then we'll bring the feet back down. Reach for your heels, make sure that they're close into your body. And on your next breath in, slowly start to lift your hips all the way up. Come into a bridge. Roll your shoulders underneath you. Press through the elbows and the heels. Focus on your knees coming in together. One more breath. And then slowly roll the spine all the way back down. You can bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat and let your knees come in together, or you can bring your feet together and let your knees open wide. Whichever feels better for you right now. If you want internal or external rotation in the hips. Wherever you are, start to bring your feet back into that original position. We're going to come up into one more bridge. So on your next inhale, lift the hips. Roll the shoulders under. And breathe. Start to lower everything back down, hug the knees in. You can stay here for a couple breaths, or you can bring your feet into your hands for happy baby. Take one more breath. And then start to bring your hands under your knees. And we'll roll up and down the spine a few times until you come to seated. Once you're back in a cross-legged or some sort of seated, comfortable position for you, you might want to put a block underneath you if you feel like it's not comfortable to be cross-legged. We're going to bring our right hand to the left knee, tent the left fingertips behind you, and just use the hand on the knee for some leverage as we twist to the left. Start to make your way back into center. Bring the right hand just down beside you, left arm up and over, stretch out through the side body. Breathe into that space on the left side. Back to center. Left hand to right knee, tent the right fingertips behind you. Twist to the right, tall, straight spine. Back into center, left hand goes beside us, right arm up and over. Create some space on the right side. Come back into center. Let's roll up and over our ankles and make your way into a tabletop. From here, we're gonna do just some straight armed push-ups. So it's a way that you can just start to warm up your shoulder blades, your shoulder girdle. So you're just going up and out with your shoulders, not bending your elbows. Your shoulder strength, shoulder mobility. And then when you're ready, start to take this deeper and move fully into your cat-cow. So on the inhale, look up. And on the exhale, round out the spine, push it towards the ceiling. 2 more times like that, nice and slow. Let's start to bring the hands a little bit wider and the knees can come together. We'll do a few barrel rolls. So you're going to roll your hips all the way around in one direction. 3 times. And then switch directions, go 3 times the other way. Back into our tabletop. Push the ribs out side to side. And then sit all the way back into your child's pose. Reach your fingertips forward. So it's stretching through the upper back, active pose at first, and then relax everything down. Take one more breath, then start to make your way back up into tabletop. Let's bring the knees a little bit wider and the big toes come together. Leave the right hand under the chest. Inhale the left arm all the way up, coming into a big twist. On the exhale, loop the left arm through the right, and let's stay at the bottom for 2 breaths. Focusing on slow stretching, slow strengthening. Inhale the left arm back overhead. And one more time, let's loop it through, take 2 breaths at the bottom. Inhale the left arm up. And then bring the left hand down on your exhale. Inhale the right arm up. Move to the other side. Loop it through 2 breaths. Inhale, right arm overhead. One more time, loop it through. Inhale all the way up. And then place the right hand beside the left. Bring the knees closer in. Tuck the toes. We're going to make our way up into our first downward dog. Pedal out the feet and calves. Get out all your movement. And then take 3 big breaths when you're able to find stillness. Start to walk to the top of the mat. Fold forward when you get there. Let the head be heavy. Inhale, let's start to make our way up. Big exhale at the top. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders. And we'll start to make big circles forward with the elbows. Really reach up through your armpits. And switch direction a few the other way. Release your arms down by your sides. Let's make fists alongside our body. We want to create a little bit of tension up top because we're going to be balancing. It helps us to balance if we're focused on something else. So bring your weight first into your right foot. Start to balance. We're going to bring the left knee up into center. Take it out to the side. Internally rotate and finish off the circle. So we're doing hip cars, slow motion, adding a balance component. Keeping the foot flexed. Once you've done 3 going one way, switch directions, go 3 the other way. Bringing this back to awareness of how your pelvis is moving as you're doing these hip cars. Switch sides once you've done 3 each direction. Notice if one side feels easier than the other. One hip feels tighter. Again, going slower than you want to. Switch directions. Keep your hands in fists. One more. Back around. Shake everything out. On your next inhale, we're back at the top of our mat. Bring your hands up overhead, look up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bring your hands down, take the right foot back behind you. Hold here in this runner's lunge for just a second, stretching out through the right hip. And then bring the right knee down, start to rock back and forth. If you keep the back toes tucked under, you get a bit of a foot stretch as you go back and stretch out the hamstring. 2 and 1. You can hold anywhere that you feel you need a little bit more space. The next time you're forward, bring your hands down, pick up the back knee. Take the left foot all the way into the air behind you. Bend the knee, open up the hip to the side wall. Make a few big circles with the knee. Step the left foot back between your hands. Turn on the right heel. Come up into warrior 2. Plug the shoulders into the back. Big breath here. Now let's just alternate, straightening and bending each leg, going back and forth so you can get some cracks and pops into the hips. And the next time your front leg is straight, come into triangle. So your hand can come to your shin or down beside you. Right arm up overhead. Come through center, use your core. Left arm overhead, exalted warrior. And then cartwheel your hands back down to the mat, come up on the back right toes. Take the left foot into the air behind you again. And then shift forward, bring the left knee behind the left wrist, coming into pigeon on this side. So slide back. You can stack your hands, bring your head down. You can stand on your fingertips if that feels better. And just take a few breaths here. Notice where the sensation is. You can always add a quad stretch into your pigeon if you want to. So you leave the left hand down, reach back for the right ankle and pull towards you. One more breath. And then we'll start to roll onto the left glute. And your legs will land in 90-90 if you were holding onto the right ankle. Bring your hands back behind you, or you can have them up in heart center. And we're just going to go back and forth with the knees. It's harder if you have your hands in front. If you want a bit more of a challenge, let the back knee lead the motion. The next time your left leg's forward, we're going to roll back and all the way up into downward dog. One more big breath here. We're going to do a little bit more for the shoulders. So start to reach your right fingertips, touch your left toes. Left fingertips, right toes. We're just going to alternate. Let's go 7 per side. Moving from downward dog, opposite hand to opposite foot, back and forth. Once you're finished, take a big breath and start to walk to the top of the mat again. Fold when you get there. Inhale, start to make your way up. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down a few times when you get to the top. Focus on recentering your breath. And then on your next inhale, lift the arms up overhead, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Then bring your hands down, take the left foot all the way back behind you. Hold this runner's lunge. Stretch through the left hip. And then bring the left knee down, rock back and forth. Hamstring and hip. And a little bit of foot stretching. The next time you rock forward, bring your hands down, pick up the back knee, and then pick up the right foot, take it into the air behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip to the side wall, make a big knee circle in each direction, and then step the right foot between the hands, back into warrior 2 on this side. Roll the shoulders back, and then bend and straighten, alternating back and forth. The next time your front leg is straight, bring your hand to your shin, come into triangle on this side, left hand overhead. Lift all the way up, come into exalted warrior. And then cartwheel the hands down, come up on the back toes. Take the right foot into the air behind you, 3-legged dog. Right knee behind the right wrist, come into pigeon on this side. Stack your hands, bring your forehead down. Bring yourself back to your breath. If you did your quad stretch on the other side, you can add it in on this side now. Then when you're ready, roll onto your right glute. So your legs land in this 90-90 position again. We're gonna go back and forth a few times with the knees. It's so good for your hip mobility if you've been sitting all day. Some internal and external rotation here. And the next time your right leg's forward, back up into your downward facing dog. Find some stillness, take 3 big breaths. We're gonna rock forward and back just a little bit more for the shoulders. So rock all the way forward into plank, and then all the way back again into your downward dog. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, go back. 3 more times. Try to make it feel like a wave. Last one, forward. All the way back to downward dog, and then bring your knees down. Sit back into child's pose, take a rest. But bring your elbows forward and your hands together into prayer. And then bring your hands behind your head. So you're stretching out the triceps. Hopefully feeling that pull again through the armpits and the lats. Breathe into that space. Start to reach your fingertips back out. From here, we're gonna carry on with our slow movements. Come up from your child's pose into a super slow push-up. So slow as you can, all the way down, all the way up, back into your child's pose. Take a full round of breath between movements. So on your next inhale, come forward, super slow push-up, all the way back into child's pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Taking enough rest and breath before you move into your next one. Last one. Then bring your forehead down, rock it a few times side to side. Then we'll come forward into our slow push-up, but this time just lower all the way down to your mat. So the front of the body's on the mat, bring your fingertips just a little bit farther in front of your shoulders. On your next breath in, pull through your finger pads, come up into cobra. And exhale, release. Let's do that one more time. Little back bend, come up into your cobra, pull through fingers, pull forward, and release back down. Let's start to prop ourselves up onto our elbows. And we're going to bring the left knee up as high as we can towards our left elbow. We're going to do a little bit more internal hip rotation because it feels so good. On your next breath, we're just going to start to lift the left foot, place it back down. We're going to do this 7 times on this side. You can go slow and match breath to movement if you'd like. You can hold at the top if your hip doesn't start to cramp. Move at whatever pace your body's telling you to. Slower is harder. And then we'll start to roll over onto the right, straighten the left leg again. Pull the right knee up as close as you can towards the right elbow. Let's do the other side. So pick up the right foot. The foot's flexed. You can hold at the top. Internal hip rotation. Giving the hips a little bit more space. They spend so much time in the same position. Do a couple more, a couple bonuses. And then you can roll a little onto your left, straighten the right leg. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Slow push up all the way back into child's pose. Feel your breath expanding between your legs. Your belly expanding between your knees. Slowly start to come up out of your child's pose. You can cross your ankles and just roll to seated at the back of your mat. Bring your feet close in towards you. Bring the hands out in front. We'll just sit back a little bit, just a little bit more core until we are down on our backs. If you want to do the heel taps or the toe taps like we were doing in our dead bug before to make it a little bit more challenging, you can always do that. Every 5 seconds, just move your torso a little bit more toward the ground. When you get all the way down to your back, hug the knees into your chest. Bring your feet down and wide, let your knees come into touch. Hands to your belly, focus again on your breathing. And then just start to straighten the legs, coming into Shavasana, our final resting pose. If there's anything else you feel like you need in your practice, feel free. If not, just let your eyes close. You can keep your hands on your belly or bring them down by your sides. Let the work settle in. When you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll over to one side and start to make your way back up to seated. I'm one of these people that in my movement practice, my yoga practice, my workouts, always really felt like I needed to go fast for things to be intense or worthwhile. And so I've been challenging myself lately to move slower. And I hope that today's practice gave you some different sensations, different feelings, some different body work, different mental work. And I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a great night. Namaste.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, guys.
I need
Thank
a
you,
good
Megan.
stretch.
Yeah.
I forgot I had.